years ago.
And it turned out to be a pretty good pick for the Bengals. As you talked about him, he's there coming into this game, 114 tackles, couple sacks, interception. He's turned out, talking to the defensive coordinator, Larry Piccatello, earlier before the game, he feels real good about not only the inside backer, but Francis. He really believes they need one more linebacker on this defense.
Blitz coming on a 3rd and 9. And down goes Brister again. Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson. And Brister slow to get up. Big Daddy, his 2nd sack of the game.
Tom, I'm kind of smiling here because yesterday as we talked to Big Daddy, one of the things that he said, he goes, as you see him right there, working on Lester Holmes, beats him one-on-one there to make the sack. He says, I have to play this system. Defensive linemen are rated by sacks. I have to get some sacks, and he's doing that this afternoon.
Short punt off the side of Barker's foot. He gets a kind roll that'll take it just across midfield. But prime field position for Cincinnati. A 33-yard punt. 27-17 Eagles over Wilkinson and the Bengals. Followed by America's Most Wanted.
Well, Tom, we talked about last time the Eagles got the ball that the Bengal defense had to step it up. They did. Got a sack by Big Daddy. Bad punt here, giving their offense excellent field position.
And Blake back to throw. Finds Pickens, and he picks up about 8 to the Philadelphia 42. Carl Pickens, his 7th reception, 118 yards in the game.
As he has had easy pickings today. You see Carl just coming across the middle there. Catches the ball, then turns it upfield, tries to make a nice spin move on Michael Zordich. Grabs him around the ankle, brings him down.
Zordich is a fine, fine player. 8th year out of Penn State. And the ball is loose. Harold Green tied up at the bottom of the pile with William Fuller. And Green able to get it back. That would have been the 5th Cincinnati turnover today.
And that's something we've talked about that has plagued the Eagles in their 6 straight losses, have been turnovers and mistakes. And right there, the ball never has control of the football. And you have 2 Eagles there, Fuller and Romanowski. But Harold Green, I believe, comes up with that football.
3rd down and 5. Well, this is 2 down territory for the Bengals, but they get the first down. On the out to Darnay Scott. Eric Allen on the coverage, pushed him out of bounds. He'll move the chains, and all of a sudden Blake and the Bengal offense beginning to have it cranked up again.
Nice call. They knew exactly how many yards they needed to get that first down, not taking any chances and trying to go way downfield, but Darnay Scott making a nice move, making the reception. Once again, nice call by the Bengals.
And of course, the offensive coordinator, former New York Jet head coach Bruce Coslett, sitting just off to our left. 1st and 10, and the pitch to Green. Cuts through, back the other way, slices to the 20. Tripped up by William Thomas. And Harold Green starting to pile up the yards.
I think maybe he has something down there where he's listening to us, but you see Harold Green, the lone setback right here. Bruce Kazurski, Ken Moyer. You have number 87, Troy Sandowski, making a nice block. He takes it back in. A nice run. Hard running by Harold Green. Right there in the middle, you see Bruce Coslett, the offensive coordinator, who I had a chance to play for.
Yeah, Coslett, the offensive coordinator from 86 to 89 with the Bengals. Twice you guys led the NFL in offense. 3 times the AFC, and twice in rushing offense back when you had James Brooks, Ickey Woods, and Stanley Wilson.
You know, you mentioned those stats. You mentioned that period of time when he was heading the offense. But you go back to the early 80s when we went to our first Super Bowl under Forrest Gregg, and Bruce Coslett was the special teams coach, and we had one of the top special teams in the league. So he's been able to handle certain areas of football teams and do an excellent job.
Well, some have wondered if Coslett wasn't brought back as offensive coordinator to eventually take over the head coaching job here with the Bengals.
A lot of speculation, especially after the 3 seasons that Shula's had. A lot of people around town are just saying, when are they going to move Coslett into that head coaching job? But it doesn't appear that it's going to happen. You see Forrest Gregg right here, Mike Brown right there. I had a chance to play for Forrest Gregg my first 4 years in the league, and as Tim Crumry had him here at halftime to speak at halftime, and Tim talked to us yesterday about what Forrest Gregg has meant to him in his 12 years playing football and how he's been able to carry that over in life. I tell you, that guy taught me a lot about the game. One of the best players Vince Lombardi said he ever coached. In fact, not the best, he said, was the greatest.
First and 10 following the timeout. Green, another carry, and he's met immediately by Hager. Harold Green, 12 rushes, 54 yards today.
Well, just after the Bengals had kind of slowed down, gotten a little cool, they've kind of heated up the last couple series. Last drive basically did it with the run, hitting a couple short passes, but right here they've gone back and they've started to mix it up again, hitting the wide receivers, running the ball extremely well.
Second down and 8. Jeff Hill in motion and Blake to throw. And Green dropped it.
Well, Jeff Blake doing a nice job getting rid of that football because number 96, Mike Flores, is right there to floor him right after he threw the football. And this Eagle organization has to be excited about this 11th round pick in 1991 out of Louisville because he stepped in and he's done a nice job.
And away from the field, an illustrator, creator of a comic book called The Ultimate Man. He'd like to make the ultimate hit right here on the final play of the third quarter. Blake near side looking for Darnay Scott, but good coverage by Eric Allen. It brings up a 4th and 8. Cincinnati sends its field goal unit out on the field.
And another guy that's from this area, right across the river, coming in to attempt this field goal, out of the University of Kentucky, Doug Pelfrey, who is in his second year as a Bengal, has done a nice job.
Well, he really has. 25 of 30 this season. This one from 36 yards out. And right through the middle. So Cincinnati has come back with 10 unanswered points after falling behind 27-10, and they've narrowed the gap to 7. It's 27-20 Philadelphia. See some of the other scores around the league. Arizona needing to get in, also needing a little help to try to get into the playoffs. If Green Bay wins, the Packers are in no matter what.
You have right here, tough battle up in Chicago. New England 6. The Bears 3.
And of course Chicago is automatically in with a win. If they lose, they're going to need some help around the league.
And Cleveland continuing to win after a big loss up in Pittsburgh. They're ahead of Seattle.
Buffalo 4 times to the Super Bowl, and well, they will not appear in the AFC playoffs this season. But it was a remarkable run for Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, and Marv Levy's Buffalo Bills. 4
times in the Super Bowl. As you see these teams, they're trying to get into the playoffs with their ultimate goal to get to the Super Bowl. The Patriots 9-6, Raiders 9-6, Kansas City 8-7. As you look at their chances.
Yeah, 2 of those 3 make it. Somebody will be the odd team out.
And the Raiders have really stormed back. They are really playing extremely well after a slow start. A little confrontation between Hostetler and Art Shell down in Miami. Things have turned around.
Otis Smith, number 30, waiting back with Vaughn Hebron, and it's kicked out of bounds. And they'll bring it all the way out to the 40. But a penalty flag is down. And that's the reason why. So Herschel Walker, for some reason, not in. He had a 94-yard kickoff return touchdown. He was hitting the head and probably still a little woozy.
Well, we saw one coverage play earlier in the game where it appeared he was hit right under the chin and went down to the ground, and as he got up, he kind of wobbled and kind of weaved off the football field. And I think a result of that, that's why he's sitting there with the Band-Aid on his nose. At least he's smiling.
Well, you'll be the first to know, Anthony, when you get into week 16, you can't find a spot on your body that's not sore.
Your hair aches. After 2-3 weeks of camp, 4 preseason games, 16 regular season games, you massage your head slowly when you're in the shower, because not only does your body hurt, but you got to be gentle with your hair.
Richie Kotite talking things over, and David Alexander, the team captain of these Eagles.
5th round pick out of Tulsa. He's been a guy that's been in there for over 100 straight starts.
Kickoff out of bounds. That will be the receiving team's ball at the 40-yard line. They have declined to extend the period by 1 play. Therefore, that is the end of the 3rd quarter. We will reverse goals.
So that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Our score, Philadelphia 27, Cincinnati 20. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local Fox station. Munoz here in Cincinnati. Well, you get a complex hanging around this crowd. 11-time Pro Bowler on one side. And, well, college recruiters, you better get out your pen and paper. The handoff to Hebron. He loses a yard. Well, here's Dad. And take a look. Your son, Michael, 13 years old, 6'3", 240 pounds, and he can whip Dad already, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think he can. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and broadcast maybe a couple more years, start brushing up on what it takes to be an agent.
Michael, keep an eye out on him. You see Michael already wearing the garb of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Lou Holtz probably scratching down the name and Munoz address and phone number. Even as we speak. That hurts you being a Southern Cal Trojan.
It hurts me not seeing him wear the cardinal and gold.
2nd and 11. Brister throws, and they wrestle for the football. Johnson in there, and the Bengals claim they have it. And it is Cincinnati football. It looked like both receiver and defender had their hands on the ball at one time or another, and Darrell Williams is a man who comes away with it.
As we look at the play and see exactly what happened, right here you see Bubby Brister stepping up, Maurice Johnson coming over the middle, and you see Darrell Williams. They both have the football. It's a matter of wrestling. And there you see the ball come to the ground. And they're saying recovered by the Bengals. They do get the football.
Boy, Darrell Williams, you're talking about 6 feet, 191 pounds. Johnson goes 245.
As we see right here, it appears that Maurice Johnson has the reception, but Darrell Williams just keep fighting. You see Bubby Brister jumping in there because he sees the ball on the ground.
Blake going up top, looking for Darnay Scott. He was open, but it was overthrown. Coverage by Mark McMillan.
Well, they had Darnay Scott 6'1", 180 against Mark McMillan at 5'7", figuring even if he has good coverage on Darnay Scott, maybe he can out-wrestle the ball from him because of the size difference.
Well, we're in the 4th quarter, and you see the numbers. Cincinnati, after falling behind 27-10, 10 unanswered points. And here we are in the 4th and final quarter for both these teams this season. Green broke one tackle and then slammed to the turf. Zordich there, along with Greg Jackson up from his free safety spot.
Tom, it'll be interesting to see how this Bengal football team handles this. A quarter left, they're down by 7. Talking to Dave Lapham, a former teammate of mine with the Bengals. He does the radio now for the Bengals. He said one of the things that the Bengals have had a hard time is when they get down towards the end of the game is making the play to win the football game instead of making a play that's going to allow them to lose the game.
3rd down and 6. Short drop to the tight end McGee, and it's broken up. Again, Michael Zordich there to deliver the blow.
Hey, this guy has been all over the field making tackles. intercepting footballs.
Scored a touchdown. He's done everything here today.
And he came out of Penn State, as we mentioned earlier, and he wasn't drafted, was signed as a free agent back in 1986.
And of course, signed as a free agent prior to this year.